Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the disclaimers and a rant. For those of you who are not football fanatics, and yes, I'm talking U.S. football fanatics, feel free to fast forward to the usual disclaimers. But I got to talk about this because football season's my favorite season of the year. Very obviously. And I live in Missouri. You basically get issued being a Chiefs fan at birth. All right? Sucks. It is what it is. But I need to discuss this because it's been bothering me for the last 2 seasons. Chiefs, fix your goddamn defense. All right? It's been embarrassing. Mahomes has literally been carrying this team on his back since 2019. Literally been carrying the entirety of the whole team. He's got some awesome receivers, but my God. If you want to have a well-rounded football team, you can't basically make your offense carry the rest of the team. Because eventually you're going to come across the team who has an offense that's good as or better than yours. And if they start scoring, basically running through you like Moses parting the Red Sea, it's not much that your offense is going to be able to make up for if they're basically running around you like you're not even there. Okay? It's embarrassing how bad they've been. Granted, the Chiefs are known for shit defense. They've been known for that for decades. But to put it point blank, literally the only reason we now have 2 Super Bowls under our belt is because of Mahomes and his receivers. That's just the facts. That's just literal facts, putting it out there. Don't you think Mahomes' back is tired? Don't you think his back hurts having to carry the defense on his back for multiple years in a row? I don't know what you need to do, chief coordinators, whoever handles that, but fix your defense. Make it a point, for the love of God. Make it a point to fix what's broken in your team. And that's the defense, in case anybody's been watching these games for the last several years. And as a fanatic, I have screamed myself hoarse at the TV while dudes just sit there running through them like they're nothing for the last several years, all right? Fix your shit. All right? Quit making us an embarrassment to the rest of the damn football league because you refuse to make your defense be a defense and making Mahomes have to carry you season after season after season. To the disclaimers. It's just annoying, folks. Very annoying and disheartening to see your defense suck that damn hard. I take my football very seriously. Particularly since I somehow always manage with KC defense on my fantasy football team and they let me down every year. In the description box, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they've threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, the Ozarks' first article in regards to Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens, that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy badly shopping and chasing after drag queens, trying and failing to defund public libraries, literally everything but, doing his job. And you got a governor off his nut. So send help, read that article, share it on all your social media. Excuse me. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masamba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, catch clips or surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please use your headphones, alright? Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised, alright? Alright, where we left off last night, we're in the middle of kind of in the middle towards the end of this here. So let's go through it, shall we? Remarkable in our findings was that these young adults had a substantial number of prior placements. Although we are not aware of any normative data on frequency of placement of individuals with disabilities, our findings suggest a lack of commitment of the program providers and the local education agencies, and in some cases state agencies, to the student, and unwillingness to accommodate the student, to individualize behavior support, or seek extra support or consultation. Okay, remember, riddle me this, Batman. We all know that these kids have been failed from get-go, but if you are a school that specializes in educating people like moi, you are a school that also knows that to come up with a comprehensive, cohesive plan in order to educate said student and prep them for transition services down the road, you gotta have a full functional behavioral assessment. Why was none done? Okay? I think the original school districts should have definitely done so. But you're the specialty school. Okay? You should know, even more than your regular public school, the things that are needed in order to come up with a cohesive plan for the education of these kids. Okay? You're literally supposed to be a school/treatment center. You're supposed to specialize in this. If these kids come to you and there has been no functional behavioral assessment done, and there is no BIP in place, you should know the very next thing that needs to happen before they start attending your school. More than your general run-of-the-mill public school, even. When my podunk school, from the land of the dueling banjos, knows that they need to refer my folks to professionals so I could have a full functional behavioral assessment done, what are these places' excuse? What is this place? Any of these places, literally any of these places. They're supposed to be set up to be schools that specialize specifically in this, right? If these kids are being brought on and it becomes apparent that no behavioral assessment has been done, wouldn't that be the first thing out of your mouths? It doesn't surprise me the number of schools these kids got thrown around at. Because every single school was playing Russian roulette. Almost like pin the tail on the autistic. It doesn't surprise me at all that they failed because they have no groundwork. There's no foundation to operate off of. How are you going to form a plan to address behaviors when there's no assessment done? You're just going to keep throwing different ideas out and hoping one of them sticks? Kamikaze behavioral intervention? It's chaos, folks. Literal chaos. These places are supposed to specialize this. They should be the first people, literally the first people, referring these parents to the professionals to get that done so that you have a baseline to start developing a BIP off of. And then you build from there. I'm gonna need therapy after reading this. Jesus. All mothers expressed the experience of powerlessness regarding the admission to the facility. They felt the placement decision was not really in their control, and there were no appropriate alternatives or choices available for their child. In general, the mothers did not realize the extent that aversive interventions were used at the facility. This is what I mean, parents. Now, I've worked with hundreds of you. I know how overwhelmed and exhausted you are. Believe me when I tell you I sympathize. I really do. I have eyewitness accounts I could tell you of situations that I was brought into. But at the end of the day, you have to remember who you are and who they are. You're the one with the power. They cannot do anything without your consent. These places, they'll lie to you. And they'll try to put pressure on you. They're going to try to make it seem like it's their way or the highway. But ultimately, you are the parent. You are the trump card. You are numero uno in charge. You make sure that they can feel that. You make it well known who's the boss here. You let it be known from day one that you hold the cards and you know you hold the cards. And that you will not be taking crap. You will not be intimidated. You will not be coerced. You let them know who they're dealing with. All right? Again, personal life experience. Believe me when I say my mom let them know who they were dealing with. However, by the time their children were placed in the facility, either they felt that they had no choice or no options. No other program would admit their child, so they reluctantly complied with the recommended interventions. See, that's why we got to do our own homework. Because it's a lie. It is very much a lie. The JRC likes to tote that line, as do their supporters, that no other school would actually take these kids. But here's the actual truth. How do you know that for a fact if you haven't reached out to those other schools? You don't. You're going on their word. You're going on the word of individuals who have overseen the deaths of 6 kids. Okay? Don't just know that you're the only power in the room. Don't just use that power, but also do your homework. Okay? Because if that were true, what they were telling you, then every single kid would be at the JRC. This is not the reality. The reality is that community-based services like the ARC, which is the most that is emphasized, handle cases like the cases that are at the JRC every single day. Every single day. And for as long as I have worked with the ARC, and we're going on almost 20 years here, they have never, regardless of what the situation was when they walked in on it, turned away a consumer. Never, ever. Never, ever. Burrell, as both the provider of my services once upon a time and one of the largest providers when it comes to autism services in the entirety of my state, has never turned away anyone. Unlike ARC, Burrell Services actually can utilize insurance to cover the costs. Never seen them turn a single kid away. These places lie because they want your school district's money. They are making bank off of these kids. A place like JRC is raking in millions every single year, $280,000 a head for each school year. They don't care about your kid. They want your money. Okay? Really is as simple as that. Don't let them sit there and lie to you when the numbers simply don't work. I've also seen other providers, such as DCO. DCO is out here, Developmental Center of the Ozarks. They take on several kids. ARC does. Nova does. Burrell does. Easter Seals does. If you notice, I'm ticking them one right after the other. None of these kids have ever been turned away. The few kids who've managed to not qualify for state funds to be able to get into places like ARC and like Nova and like Easter Seals are able to get in through Burrell. And then for the life skills classes and other transition services they're going to need once they come around to be that age, they still get access to Voc Rehab, as well as the service at the independent centers for living that we have out here. Okay? They're lying. You as a parent need to do your homework, so when they're sitting there lying to your face, you can call them out on it. Let's get this finished up, shall we? Throughout their children's stay at the facility, all mothers reported feelings of coercion when they tried to have input into the program. I know a lot of these videos have been geared towards the parents, and there's a reason for that. I need you parents to understand the power that you hold. I need you to understand that deep down in your soul. I need you to feel it. I need you to feel it so deeply that it manifests out your pores. You hold all the cards. You hold all the power. I need you to realize this. None of these places, like the JRC, could engage in such horrible acts without the consent of the parents. If a school is using these kinds of dirty tactics to force your hand, you need to know that you have ultimate veto power. You have the means at your fingertips to call them on their bluffs. And if you send your kid to a school like this and they are miserable and you have that deep gut feeling that a lot of parents get that there's something really wrong here, you act on it. And don't let anyone talk you out of it. Because remember, who knows their child's best? The school districts? Or you, the parent? Who knows your child's best? The state? Or you, the parent? Who knows your child's best? The specialized special ed school? Or you, the parent? And you let them feel that. I'm going to go ahead and close out here. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you next vid.